Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four and their mega hit song, Dirty Knife. Check out the Unholy Four on Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you can find the Unholy Four. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Yay! It's 2025. Happy New Year. Podcast specific promo code. Very simple, but it's a special code. It is 2025. That's the promo code for the month of January. And since it's the new year and it's 2025 and we're all excited, you can actually get 25% off of your next order at OttsvilleRecordGarage.com if you use promo code 2025. It's only good one per person in the month of January, but that is running right now till the end of January. Promo code 2025. As you can see, my co-host and brother Adam is not here, but that's okay because this is a listener pick, and the listener pick before he was the official bartender of the Country Hipster Podcast. My co-host today is the country heartthrob, Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. I'm doing okay. I knew I was filming from my house today, so I went out and pre-gamed a little before, so I'm
very nice.
Right in the fucking right where I need to be.
You're in the right zone. You're in a good zone. That's good.
Couple shots, couple beers, we're good.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And you just showed me something as we were setting up. What are you drinking there? What's that special bottle you have?
Oh, I just got my hands on a bottle of Crown Royal Blackberry, which is again not as sweet as the apple. Fucking good.
Fucking good. All right. Yeah, no, next time we are together, I will have to check that out. As I mentioned, this is a listener's pick. And if you are a listener and you want us to do one of your records on season 3 of the Country Hipster Podcast, drop it in the comments. YouTube and Spotify specifically, you can leave comments there. If you reach out to me on Instagram, which is at the Country Hipster Podcast, or the Ottsville Record Garage Instagram, which is at the Ottsville Record, not just Ottsville Record Garage, you can let me know what record that you want us to cover in season 3. And like I said, before Tom was the official bartender, this was like 17 years, 13 months ago, somewhere in the middle of season 1.
I don't even think I had any gray in my beard back then.
I know, right? I had no gray. I had a full head of hair. It was great. It was, it was wonderful.
Dick worked, all of that stuff.
Yes. So, so this is Tom's pick, and it is Off With Your Heads Home. So, Tom, hit me up with some factoids. What do you got, buddy?
It's Off With Their Heads, by the way.
Off With Their Heads. I'm sorry, Off With Their Heads. Yes. So I even spelled their wrong on my thing.
I guarantee I would have wagered money on it that you had spelled it wrong. What are you drinking? Is that a little stubby? Is that a little stubby Coors Original?
It is. A little Coors Banquet beer.
This album felt like I love Coors Original. If I can't get a Budweiser at a place, give me a Coors Original.
I was out like had a couple of people over on Saturday night and ran out to grab beer, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just fucking feeling Coors Banquet beer tonight. So that's what I went with. So it's good.
Okay. It's good. This album to me had a very it's got a very kind of grimy feel to it.
Okay. So this makes sense.
I don't know if grimy feels the right word, but it's got a very it's right in the middle where you go, oh, it's a punk record. This is what you want to expect to hear. So I was like, I got to get something
nice.
So I got me a 25-ounce Busch Light to start with.
There you go.
It just felt right for this album because they didn't have any PBR at the place I was at. So anyway, the factoids that I came up with. This is Off With Their Heads. This is, I believe it's their 7th studio album. They've had a bunch. They were formed in 2002 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is the brainchild of Ryan Young, the lead singer and the main songwriter of the band. He's also the only member of the band who's been with the band the entire time. It's just it's him, a couple of his friends. But if you look at their history, they have this giant rotating pile of people that they do when they tour. There'll be 3 of them, 4 of them, or their studio people will be 3, 4 of them, and it's this huge rotating mix of people because he has what he does is he gets all of his friends to come and play on the record, and so it just kind of keeps everything a little different. So no 2 of his albums sound the same, and I kind of dig that. But
nice.
when you see them though, you will see him. He is the band, and then there's a couple of them you'll see more often than not. But anyway, um, this album was released in the United States on March the 12th, 2013. This is on Epitaph Records. This one it's a quick one, 12 tracks, 30 minutes and 15 seconds, real easy. And when I was looking at the liner notes and the facts, I noticed it was produced by Bill Stevenson, which, if you remember, way back when we did Hot Water Music together on my last listener pick, he produced that one also. And Bill Stevenson is the drummer of the Descendants and also the main songwriter and the only constant member of the Descendants. And we had a discussion about how I don't really like the Descendants, but apparently I really like the shit that this guy produces, because I had no fucking clue that he had produced either of them until I started kind of digging into it. Let me see here. It was recorded at the Blasting Room in Fort Collins, Colorado in 2012, and I guess they got all their shit together and released it in March. I got a quote from Ryan Young, which he said about this album, because this album was like very more personal, I guess, than the other albums he writes. Okay. And he said, "Home is about the struggles of constantly being on the move, trying to maintain relationships while being away, and not feeling like there's anywhere to go home to anymore. It's about the reasons why people leave their hometowns and never go back." And that was why, that was the impetus for him to write this album.
Nice. Very nice. Cool. So those are your factoids there?
Those are my factoids.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you, why? Why did you pick this album?
This album, from the first time I listened to it, it like immediately struck a chord with me like no album I've ever listened to before. It's this album. So Ryan is very good when he writes his songs. He's one of the best I've ever seen at verbalizing trauma and like just all the bad shit that goes along, because he deals with anxiety and depression and self-esteem issues and all of these other, like, suicidal ideation. Like, he has all of these fucking things that he deals with, and he writes about these songs, and that's like his outlet for this stuff. And he's like one of the best I've ever seen at doing it. He does it so eloquently, and he writes great fucking music to go with it. So it just kind of touched home. I have a lot of, like, I've dealt with a lot of those same things. I've had self-esteem issues and confidence issues and anxiety and depression, like, my whole fucking life. It's just been something I've dealt with. So the first time I listened to this album, it hit me, and it's like, it really just landed with me, every single one. This is the only album on my Spotify playlist where I have, like, I don't know, 1,000 liked songs. This is the only one where literally all 10 tracks are on that playlist.
Nice.
They're just somewhere in the shuffle.
So it's like one of those albums that, like, hit you at, like, the right place, right time of your life, and, like, right, it was like what you needed at that moment.
Right in the fucking feelings immediately. Yep. And it's not like it's some sappy bullshit.
No.
It's like they come right at you, but he's I love how open and honest he is when he's talking about things about, wanting to commit suicide or being depressed or being anxious. Yep. Like, I love the way he speaks about it in very frank, matter-of-fact fucking terms, and there's no beating around the bush. They're not hiding it. It's not, well, what do you think he meant when he said this? He meant what he fucking said. He said it right up front, and I've always loved that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because I've had throughout the history of the podcast, I've actually had 3 of those albums that we've covered that have been those albums for me, where it's like the soundtrack of my life. When I needed to hear that music, I heard it. I heard the songs. I heard the lyrics. And they were from season 1. It was Tim Barry Manchester and River City Extension, the fucking Intelligent Man, I think, whatever. The first River City Extension. I can't.
Great albums though.
Yes. Yeah. And then in season 2, it was Frank Turner, England Keep My Bones, and those are like. Those are 3 albums that, like, and I wanted to cover them for the same reasons, that those albums, those songs, those lyrics were just like the albums that I connected to the things that I was going through and struggling with at that time in my life as well. And kind of like spoke to what I was going through, and definitely made me feel a little less alone in the world. And I think that's fucking awesome that is why you picked this album. And, that's cool. That's cool. And I definitely get everything that you're saying there. So what would you say like your overall, I guess, feelings about the album are?
I fucking love this album from the first time I heard it. This album, so several years ago, maybe like 2014 ish.
Mm-hmm.
This album came out in 2014 ish. I would say was the first time I heard the album. I used to have XM or Sirius XM, whatever it was called. I had XM, and then when they merged, I had Sirius XM.
Yeah.
From
That sounds serious.
It's just Sirius now. They just dropped, but they bought XM, so then it just became Sirius XM and whatever, and they merged every fucking thing. So for the longest time, they honored my price where I just paid it was $9.99 a month,
right?
And so because I was with them since the '90s pre-merger, they just always honored that price no matter what they did. And then finally one day in, I think about 2018, they were like, yeah, 2019, whatever. They were like, well, it's going to be $23.99 a month now. And I was like, cool, yeah, cancel me today. Thank you, sir.
Yep. I get things for the car because we got serious with the cars. And,
yeah.
I get every now and then we get it's $5 a month for a year. And I'm like, I still want it to be lower. So
to me, it was worth it when it was $10, but, yeah. There was a channel that I used to listen to all the fucking time, and they had a show by one of my favorite skateboarders from when I was a kid. His name was Jason Ellis, so it was the Jason Ellis show. And he would DJ when he wasn't doing his show sometimes. Like he was a DJ before he had his own show on the channel.
Okay.
And when he would DJ, he would play all the punk shit that he liked to hear. Nice. Not even punk. He would play all kinds of weird shit that he liked to hear. You might hear a Dolly Parton song, whatever the fuck he wanted to play. Because it was his show, and you were going to listen to whatever the fuck he wanted to listen to.
Yep.
And he played. I still will never forget the first time I ever heard Off With Their Heads was I heard Nightlife on that channel, and I was like, oh, what is this? Okay, I like these guys, and I just kind of wrote it down in my little notebook, and I went and checked it out, and I got the album, and I listened to it, and immediately the first time I listened through, I was like, this is one of the best fucking albums I've ever listened to in my life. And I love it. And here we are, 10 years later, I still fucking love this album. I still play it all the time. And I've since I have every record that Off With Their Heads has released on vinyl. I have every one of them. This has always been my favorite. And I just don't feel the same way about, there's songs on other records that I love. And every one of his records has at least 2 or 3 good songs on it. Some of them great songs on it. But this album is just top to bottom fucking amazing. And yeah, this is a top 10 record for me all time. It's nice. without question. It's probably a top 5.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. I will tell you, I do like this album. It's of course I can't read my writing because I wrote it down earlier today. Okay, yeah. And I'm not overly familiar with Off With Their Heads, but like I had heard of them and I've heard stuff by them. And I did, like I said, I did like this, but I'm probably not going to necessarily delve into their complete discography any further than this. Not that I disliked it at all. Just to me, there's like a lot of bands that are kind of like this that I enjoy, but like don't necessarily dig deep into, it's like one of those, it's similar to like when we were talking last week about and you happened to be there when we were talking last week about modern baseball, where it's like, I think there's like a lot of bands who kind of did that similar type of sound that like, I would enjoy those bands. They're probably on playlist of mine, a song here or there, but I don't know that I have complete albums or necessarily would get complete albums by them, because it's just kind of like, okay, it's all right, but it doesn't mean that I like it. Like I said, I definitely get what you're saying about, this album with the lyrical content and the basically the pureness of it. It is, I do like the feel. Love the lyrics. It's a solid recording too, and overall the songwriting is solid. Like it's just a solid album. It's just to me, it kind of like hits me. Where's my note here? Like it reminds me a lot of like Hot Water Music. Kind of reminds me of Metzinger's Social Distortion, Rockets from the Crypt, Against Me, and like even Sam I Am. And with the exception of Sam I Am, I don't own any albums from those bands that I just mentioned.
Oh,
But I like all
I
those
have,
bands.
I have albums from every single one of them, including
Yeah.
Sam I Am.
Mhm. And that's the thing. I like those bands. I've seen Rockets from the Crypt no less than 4 times in my life, and
Okay.
I met them most. I think almost every time I saw them, I met them.
To me, they're the one that doesn't fit in with that group, though. Like the music is the same, but
Yeah.
they're like I think they were probably first, and they're Southern California, right? Are they like Orange County or some shit?
I think so. I think Rock. I'm not 100% sure where they're from. But that does sound about right.
Okay, and I feel like Rocket from the Crypt is like 5 years older than everybody else that you just met.
Yes.
So I really feel like they did it first. But same style of songwriting.
Right.
And that's why I think I like all of them.
Right. And again, and these are, like I said, these are all bands that I like, but I don't know that I necessarily would again, with the exception of Sam I Am, I don't currently have any of their albums, and I don't know that I would have any albums. But I can tell you that of these bands that I just mentioned, I have a playlist where I forget how many songs are on Spotify. It's just a private playlist. It's just songs that I like.
Yeah.
Or some of my favorite songs is what it's called. And I have songs from every single one of those bands on that playlist. And I don't know if I put any of Off With Their Heads on there, but like there's definitely a couple songs on here that I'll probably go back and then add to that playlist as well. So that's kind of where this album and I guess this band falls for me. I will tell you, I felt targeted. I felt targeted with this album. I felt like, and I think they targeted at you too, Tom. So I got a little tirade here, if I can read all my writing, right?
Okay.
So I feel like this album, I feel like this album was written by 40-year-old something old school punks with bad tattoos, probably divorced, possibly remarried, possibly starting a new family again, possibly bearded and in therapy, maybe diagnosed with ADHD, probably still wears Vans and has even maybe moved on to New Balance, but it's more of more into. But these people are more in touch with their emotions, and they don't really mind talking about them as much now as they used to.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm in therapy weekly, and I have shitty tattoos, and I still wear Vans, and I am in my 40s. Yeah, and I've been divorced. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's done well. This is like midlife crisis punk rock.
I will say though, this album happened the first time I heard this, like this song, but again, I had a lot of the other issues. The divorce wasn't one of them. I had just been married when this album released. So like you guys had just got done playing at my wedding and when that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah. I hadn't gone through the divorce yet, but all the other trauma of my childhood and shit that happened. So, yeah,
but and that's the thing, and it's done well. Like I said, it is done well, and you definitely feel all of that. I mean, that's really like when I was listening, that's what I got from it. I'm like, okay, and everything you say about it, just knowing you as long as I do, this album definitely like listen to it definitely made sense that this was like your listener pick. Like when I listened to this just the first time alone, I'm like, none of this is Tom. I get this. Like I definitely connect this. It wasn't like why is he having me listen to this? Like no, this is like no. This is a direct line to Tom Bernard. See, I think I even said it right. I did
not even close, but that's good for you. It is. Yeah, I get that. I could totally understand where anybody who knows me would just, this makes perfect fucking sense. Yep. Because if you're at the bar with me, I'm playing some of these songs on the jukebox anyway.
Yep.
Like I just absolutely love this fucking song. I listen to it all the time. Or this album, I'm sorry. Because I have on my like I said, on my Spotify playlist. Hold on, I got 868 songs, and literally all 10 tracks are in those 868.
Yeah. It's funny. The bands that I think they're similar to is, and it just came to me now. If listening to this album made me think of very early on Dropkick Murphys. Like
if you throw a bagpipe in there.
Yeah, like basically Rick.
I get like the feel of it, not necessarily the songwriting, but like the kind of overall feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Like first two albums. I would have said Gangs All Here.
When you said Hot Water Music, I 100% agreed. Like Chuck Reagan's the same fucking way. He writes really sad songs and he plays them fucking up tempo. And
yeah,
you know, that's just like his thing. Not necessarily his solo stuff, but like with Hot Water Music, that's what he did. As a young man, that's the shit he wrote.
Yeah, his solo stuff, Chuck Reagan, is much more. It's much more stripped down. It's like polished Tim Barry type of stuff.
Oh no, yeah. When we spoke about Hot Water Music, when we did my last listener pick, which was Exister by Hot Water Music, we spoke about how like him and Tim Barry might not write the same songs, but they're fucking close. They shop at the same stores, like you know that. Like they're in the same. They're right fucking there.
And I think that's kind of like what I'm getting to, like with you know, the idea of like delving more into this band, because like I've delved pretty deeply into Tim Barry, right? I've touched on Chuck Reagan, but most of that style of like for lack of a better word, folk punk, because I don't know if I necessarily consider that folk punk. I definitely consider.
I think that's what we called it last time when we talked.
Yeah, we might have.
We kind of ended up there. I don't know what the official designation of it is, but we were like, "That's folk punk." Totally makes sense to me.
Right, but like, but that type of stuff, like, I don't know how many more of those types of artists I'm going to necessarily like really delve into. You know what I mean?
There's a few of them that I really like. Like you listen to Dave House or something like that.
Yeah, Dave House is good, but I don't know that I'm going to buy any Dave House's records. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. I'll buy them if I find them at the store and they're like, I'm like, for $15, whatever. I'll pick that up. He's in that list for me. I'm not going to go out and seek him out. I'm not paying top dollar to get them like with some of the other records where I'm like, I don't give a fuck what it costs. I'm going to own that.
Right.
But if I find something along those lines, like I'm buying it just in case.
Yep. Amigo the Devil's another one who like I saw him open up for. I saw them and I forget what the name of the actual guy who is Amigo open up for Frank Turner back in June, and like that's another band who like I dig them. It was cool. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily buy any Amigo the Devil records, but I'll listen to them and I'll put them on playlist. You know what I mean? So it's like it's I feel you know kind of conflicted about that, because it's like I want to support these artists, especially these artists who aren't on these big major labels, who are really they are basically making money from touring. Is what they're not really even making money off of record sales unless you buy them while they're at the show. And I think that's you know, I feel conflicted about it because I want to support these bands, but I also have only so many dollars to spend on music on a regular basis.
Sure.
Sometimes you gotta pick and choose. You know, so I think that's what it is. And like I said, that's why when streaming comes in, even though the artist does not make nearly as much money as they should on streaming, it's at least something towards them. And so I will stream their stuff. I will, you know, save it to playlist. I will, you know, add on the playlist and stuff like that. I'm probably just not buying a record.
I'm very much a vote with your dollar person. And so I will just not buy things from companies that I hate or because, you know, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I hate it because the guy who owns Spotify is a real evil piece of shit.
Yes. Yep.
But at the same time, me not listening to Spotify does nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. And it's like, all right, if I'm spinning record, at least it's, if it's a fraction of a fucking penny to this band.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. It's the best I can do right now. I don't know what the fuck else I can do unless they have a YouTube channel, because I know they get a better share on YouTube than they do on Spotify. But
that all depends on how many people are listening too on YouTube. You know what I mean? So, you know, I found that I actually get the best shares for streaming and downloads from Apple Music, and thank you Taylor Swift for that, and believe it or not, Amazon. I get the most bang for my buck from Amazon and Amazon Music for Birmingham 6 stuff when you look at it. So like for just so if you go on to Amazon Music and you download a Birmingham 6 song, just a song for 99 cents, I get 60 cents from that.
Okay.
Whereas, you know, if you go on to Apple Music and you download a Birmingham 6 song, I get 35 cents for that. If you go onto Spotify and listen to Birmingham 6, it depends on the song. It depends on the album, but it's anywhere from.
Is that because of like the contract you had for publishing and writing credits and whatnot, or?
They're all in the same. It's all the same for.
So why does it depend on which song or album how you get paid?
I
It's
have
just
no
whatever the
idea.
fuck they decided.
It's basically whatever
You haven't
whatever
sucked the
Spotify
right
decides.
dick yet. So
Yeah, but from Spotify, it's like it's anywhere from 0.0000135 cents per spin to 0.0001235 cents per spin.
so
And
basically,
so
you make a penny on 1,000 spins, is what you're saying?
something like that, if that much. Do you know what I
Because
mean? So,
I just checked. I have 7 Birmingham 6 songs on that
there you
fucking left
go.
one.
There you go.
I don't know how much I'm contributing on a yearly basis, but I do. I will
I,
say your cover of Broad Majestic Shannon is better than
uh,
the original because you can fucking hear the vocals.
well,
And
I
that's what
don't.
always pissed me off about the original. And I love Shane McGowan, by the way. Cheers to
Shane
Shane
McGowan.
cheers,
Yes, yes.
cheers.
I
But
I also love Shane McGowan, and I appreciate that compliment. But I do not think our version is better than the original.
well, I need to hear the fucking vocals. If they could re-record, if that could, the album could be remixed where I could hear his goddamn vocals, because it's my favorite fucking Pogues song.
Yeah,
And
it's
but you have to listen to it in a quiet room. Like if the fuck
yeah.
if it's in a bar, don't play it.
Yeah, man. And if you listen to those words, man, just like they're
It's such a great fucking song.
so fucking deep and just so, like sentimental and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like brings you to another place, regardless, Irish or not. It's just it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's like
Unfortunate looking man, but
yeah.
What a fucking great writer he was.
Yep. Absolutely. So you have seen Off With Their Heads live?
I've seen them a bunch of times. So hold on. So rest in peace to Mill Hill Saloon. I saw Ryan solo 5-6 years ago at the Mill Hill, and I got to bullshit with him for a little while. He wanted to get shot.
Trenton, like it was kind of in a basement.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay,
and it's legendary around here for fucking touring bands rolling through and just playing. Seen so many good acts there. And it's
Never
tiny. You
there.
Can't fit more. If you put 100 people in that basement, it's like you're jammed in like this. And it's like a coffin. But it was fucking awesome. But I saw Off With Their Heads. I saw him there. I saw him live in the last 3 years. I saw him at Asbury Park. I saw him at the House of Independence with he toured with a comedian actually, which is cool. His opener was a comedian, so it wasn't a band. Love that. And the guy was a friend of his though, so he would come on and do some of the songs with him and shit.
Okay, real quick before we even move on, let me tell you about the time that Birmingham 6 played with a comedian. There was actually a couple times, but the one time in particular I'm going to tell you about. So I was super stoked because back in the disunion days, we had the opportunity of playing in some colleges. I think we played at like LaSalle University, played a bunch of times.
Explorers.
What's that?
The Explorers. Explorers.
Yes. Got to play at Drexel University. Always fucking great college parties.
Do you know their mascot?
College shows. What's that?
Do you know their mascot too?
Drexel. They're dragons. They're Drexel Dragons. Yeah. So
I'm like fucking Rain Man when it comes to college mascots for some fucking stupid reason.
So we got Birmingham 6 got booked for a halfway to St. Patrick's Day party at East Stroudsburg University. Yeah, East Stroudsburg is generally one of the biggest fucking party schools in all of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because they're not doing any learning there.
Right. So we get booked, and I'm like, fuck, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. And so I'm pulling up. We're driving up, and we're pulling up to where we're supposed to be, and we're not exactly sure which building we're supposed to go to. We see a couple college girls coming down. So we kind of slow down. I was like, hey, yo, excuse me. Could you tell me where, I forget what hall it is. Can you tell me where this is? Da, da, da. They're like, oh yeah, it's like up there to the left. I was like, cool. You guys coming to the show tonight? And they're like, there's a show tonight. I'm like, fuck, this is not a good sign. So we get there and we load in, we set up, we're getting ready to go. And the guy who runs it walks up. He's like, oh yeah, no, we're expecting a lot of people. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, just so you know, we're going to have this comedian open up for you. And I'm like, really? Like, yeah. And then we're doing old time photos in the back over there too. And I was like, it's what college kids like in East Stroudsburg University. It was like, oh yeah, it's great. They love it. There were maybe the comedian got up. There were maybe 10 students there. They were already fucking drunk. And the only reason they went in is because like where we were playing had like fucking mozzarella sticks. And
hey, that works.
Yeah. Right. But
yeah,
She
Maybe
did
you
her
guys should sell mozzarella sticks at your
yeah, right.
shows.
She did her act, managed to insult every single fucking person there, and then by the time we got up to play, there were like 2 people left in the fucking
Oh,
we're like, wow.
they had an open mic comedian open for you. Yeah, that sucks.
Apparently she was like she had done some stuff on Comedy Central and shit like that too, and she just wasn't that good. And it was just like, okay, well that sucks. So yeah, so that's my experience with comedians at opening up for you. But go on. You've seen
the guy that opened for them at House of Independence was he was funny, but he's friends with the band, and I guess it's just it's a way for they don't have to pay another act. Like they're
right.
It's a little show anyway, and House of Independence in Asbury Park is a fucking fantastic venue. It's small, great sound. Beers are like $6. Like it's fucking amazing.
You sold me on $6 beers,
dude. Yeah, and when you go to a show, I'm like, okay, I get a can of Budweiser. I'm expecting to pay $12.50 for it. It's $5.50, $5, whatever. It was amazing.
Nice.
Great fucking venue if you're ever in Jersey. But I've also seen them other places. I've seen it Off With Their Heads. Anytime they're around here, if I have the opportunity, I see them. I saw them last year where I bought this copy of Home.
Don't jump segments.
I'm not. Where I bought that copy of the record, I bought that at Broken Goblet Brewing, which is in Bensalem.
They play Broken Goblet, huh?
Yeah. Last year I saw them at Broken Goblet. It was fucking amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because again, that's the right size venue for this guy. He's gonna sell 500 tickets, and he's gonna fucking play every song you've ever heard, and he's gonna keep the cost. It's gonna be $20 to see him. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's like the note that I have here. Like if they were on a bill, they would probably be the band that put me over the top to see them. But like I'm probably not going to go see them unless it's like a small club. But it sounds like I'm going to be going to see them because Broken Goblet is a great place to see a show.
It's so good.
If they were playing like the Foundry at the Fillmore, I'd probably check them out.
Okay.
This is a band that like I feel like I would love to see at Kung Fu Necktie.
Yeah,
they're probably
and that's the right size venue for them too. Yeah. House of Independence is probably smaller than Kung Fu Necktie.
Milk Boy would be like a great place to see it. Milk Boy in Philly, so they were in Philly in May, and they were on the Hot Water Music and Quicksand show. So I passed on that show to go see Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah, I was at the Hot Water Music one.
Right. I'm still okay with doing it, and the reason I didn't go was because the West Coast tour of that lineup, Off With Their Heads was not on. Tim Barry was on the West Coast. It was Tim Barry, Quicksand, and Hot Water Music.
Yep.
If Tim Barry had been playing on the one in Philly, I probably would have gone to see Tim Barry again and said to hell with Sunny Day Real Estate. But
I went because it was Off With Their Heads.
Because it was Off With Their Heads.
That was the driving force to go see them. And I go, oh, and Hot Water Music? Cool. Oh, and Quicksand? Okay, even better.
So Quicksand was the thing for me. Which is why at the time, because I hadn't heard this album yet, I wasn't super familiar with them. So at the time, had Tim Barry been on it, I absolutely would have been to that. In retrospect, if that lineup were to come around again, Off With Their Heads, Quicksand, Hot Water Music, I would not even hesitate for a hot second.
I'll be there in a second, dude. Again.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it, and I would imagine, based on just what the recordings sound like and what you've said about them, is that they're able to pull off everything they do live.
Oh, absolutely, because there's not a lot of production value here. You don't hear a lot of effects. You don't hear it's them playing. It's very it's very bare bones, and it's very simple almost. I obviously I can't fucking do it. I'm not a musician, but it doesn't sound to me like you need to do this in studio because I have to do this effect. It's not like a Cure record where you're like, I need 17 pedals to be able, because I got to sound like I have 11 guitars because I can't make this music with one.
Yeah.
And they don't do that. A lot of times when they come out and play, there's 3 of them on stage.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
They kill
that's
it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it just, it definitely is a full sound, and not a whole lot of like crazy guitar riffs. I mean,
very,
some,
very stripped down. Very stripped down.
Man,
and he also he's the main guitarist, or they don't really have a lead guitar, I guess, because there's no solos on this album. He's not breaking into, okay, hold on, let me crack out some guitar solo. It's a lot of times you see him, it's him, a bassist, and the drummer, and that's it, or whatever they've got. Sometimes there's 4. I've seen him with 5 people before. It just really depends on, I guess who he's got available to him at the time. But he's the main guitarist, and he'll tell you he's not a very fucking good guitarist. But he can get the point across, and that's I guess
feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I'm not a good guitarist. People are like, "Oh man, you've been playing for that long. You're really good." I'm like, "No, I'm not, dude. I am fucking horrible. I don't even know what I'm doing." Half the time I really don't.
But you can get the job done with the songs that you write, and that's the most important fucking thing.
Exactly. So
hey, so something's been bothering me for the last 36 minutes. Did you notice that the D is backwards on Snoop?
Is it? Yeah. Well, I'm dyslexic, so it looks all right to me.
Okay. I've just been looking over your shoulder the whole time, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Is that better? Is that better for you?
Well, I mean, that's the right way.
Okay. Well, Snoop puts his D anyway and anywhere he wants.
Okay, yeah, so. You're right. His dick, he can do whatever he wants with as long as he keeps it to himself. As long as you're not waving it around in public.
I just touched it. That might fuck up my big D chances now because we talked when I finished up my total there. It was kind of like Stanley Cup stuff that I shouldn't touch the big D.
You'll touch plenty more Ds today. Don't worry. I'm sure. Yeah, it's fucking early. It's not even 9 o'clock. You got plenty of time to get your hands on some D.
Yeah.
So can I go off topic for a couple minutes here?
Sure.
Okay. So I've been listening to a lot of the older, I kind of just ran out of podcasts to listen to, and I only obviously listen to the Country Hipster podcast. So I've been burning through the fucking episodes again recently. And when I was listening to the License to Ill, or I'm sorry, Ill Communication.
Ill Communication.
So I was listening to that one again. And the bit where Adam, I guess the names of the segments are AI generated.
Yes.
Okay, so the one where Adam chugs the fucking chelada, it's called Nick's Chihuahua.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And I noticed that I'm like, when did he mention a Chihuahua? And then I was like, oh, because somebody said Michelada. And it just and Nick was on the show. It just became Nick's Chihuahua as the episode, as the chapter.
So the software I'm using, it automatically generates the chapter titles. I could sit there and go back and change them. I just don't. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not.
Nick's Chihuahua is so much better than Adam stares down Paul while he chugs a chelada. Like,
so I think it was the American Idiot episode. When it got released, I get a text with a screenshot from Megan, friend of the podcast, Megan, and our Gen Z prospector. And she says,
soon to be gold digger, right?
Yes. And she's like, wow, that's really something there with the chapter titles or something like that. And I'm like, what is she fucking talking about? And I look at it, and the chapter title is called Whoring Out Megan. I'm just like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That was a little too on the nose. Maybe I should change that one.
I was like, oh, wow. And I was just like, listen, I don't make these titles up. They just
her lawyer's going to be elbowing Andre Darlington's lawyer out the fucking way to sue you.
I was just like, oh, God damn. So yeah, maybe I should go back and look at them, but that's pretty funny. Nick's Chihuahua.
I just noticed it at the bottom on Spotify, and I started laughing. I'm like, I don't remember us mentioning Chihuahua, and then it kind of clicked in my head that Adam was drinking a Michelada and Nick was on the show.
You know what's great? Like, I've been thinking about writing songs again, and I'm like kind of really bad with coming up with titles and lyrics and shit.
I think you and Adam need to write some fucking original songs.
Yeah, right.
But he's a creative motherfucker. He would have some good names for songs.
I might have to just call one Nick's Chihuahua.
You have to. Yeah, but then you can't mention a Chihuahua or Nick. Like in the episode.
No, that's like the Birmingham 6, the album Move On, was actually originally supposed to be called Born in a Puddle of Gasoline.
Wait, it was called what?
It was supposed to be called Born in a Puddle of Gasoline.
What was the name of the album?
Move On. Oh, I'm sorry. Move On.
Okay. I got it. Yeah. That's a good fucking album. I love that album.
But it was supposed to be called Born in a Puddle of Gasoline, but the rest of the band hated it. So I was like,
why was that?
What's that?
Did you ever tell the story of why it was called that?
I just thought it was cool. I used to say my cat Alistair was born in a puddle of gasoline.
Okay, you just thought it was badass.
I just thought it.
That's fair.
Cool.
That's fair. That's like the.
But I said I was going to write a song called "Born in a Puddle of Gasoline," and as it turns out, since Move On came out like almost 10 years ago, I've written like 3 songs. So
did you say written?
written like three
Roten?
songs.
Okay.
Written, done. You know.
Okay. No, listen. I'm not even gonna say it because it's at this point, people expect me to call you illiterate. I'm not saying shit.
It's true though. It's true.
Yeah. I just I'm cracking a sweet baby PB&J. Have you had one of these? A chocolate peanut butter raspberry porter.
Yeah, so they make they make the regular Sweet Baby Jesus, right?
Sweet Baby Jesus, Sweet Baby Java. That's the coffee one. This is the PB&J. It's Duke Claw Brewing, which, by the way, it used to be down in Maryland, and it just got bought by. There's a brewery about 10 minutes from my house called River Horse in Ewing, New Jersey.
Yeah, I know River Horse.
They just bought Duke Claw a little while back.
Really?
Yeah, so all their shit's made by
River Horse.
River Horse, yeah, they own it now.
Interesting. So I've not been a fan of Sweet Baby beers.
Oh, I like this.
You like that?
I do like dark beer though. You know that. So, I'm never shy about pointing out. Like I like porters and stouts. So for me, I like the dark beers. This is fucking
like excellent. Your women.
Yeah, dark.
Yeah.
Bitter. And yeah, or we used to say on midnight shift is the old guy on my midnight shift used to he'd ask for I like my coffee like I like my women. I like black, hot, bitter, and with a penis.
Oh man.
Rest in peace to him too. To Stone.
Oh, there you go. Rest in peace to
Stone.
Stone.
He was the fucking best. He was my right hand man on midnights, and he used to have like. I remember a couple. He was one of those old guys that had a lot of sayings. So like it was pouring rain so hard you could barely see outside. One time he's like, "Tommy, it's fucking raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock." I don't even know what the fuck that meant, but I knew it was fucking funny. And then we had this kid on our shift that everybody called Lunchbox, and he had like and they called him Lunchbox because he drove a Scion XB, the toaster looking car. Yeah. So we called anyway. Stone called him Lunchbox.
His wife drove one of those too, but anyway, go on.
So he was in the office and he was bitching about something, and Stone came in. He's like, "What, are you looking for sympathy? If you're looking for it, you can find it in a dictionary between shit and syphilis." and and he wasn't wrong. And yeah. Anyway, you always gotta have every job is better when you got an old guy like that that knows all the shit.
Yep. Yeah, we're at that age where we're about to be that old guy.
Pretty soon. I am that old guy at one of my jobs anyway.
I know, right?
At the building supply. And fuck, I've only been at the Nog for 5 years now, and I'm the second. There's only one bartender who's been here longer than me. It's Jude.
Yeah.
It feels weird, but time marches on.
Last time I played there, I realized that like I'm the oldest tenured musician at the Nog.
You have to be.
Yeah. And, I am.
Well, you
were there regularly besides me started after me.
Were you playing there when before Todd bought it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. So you were playing. Yeah. So yeah, there's only a cut. Maybe you and Matt Williams, and that's about it.
I think I beat out Matt Williams though. So, but yeah. That's
what I mean. There ain't a lot.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, all right. So back to the album we're here to talk about. Tom, your any final thoughts on the album?
No, like I said, this album is very it like struck a chord with me right away, and I still love this album to this day. I listened to it again today just while I was driving around. Well, probably twice while I was driving around.
Yeah.
And it's still just as good as I remember it when I first heard it. I fucking love this album. That's all I can say. There's nothing. I have no bad things to say about this album.
Nice. So I like this album. You like this album. But there is a sweet angel who's kind of sick today.
Do you know I was going to get to that and you took it from me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go for it.
No, too late now. You already mentioned the sweet baby angel.
Sweet baby angel who's about to be a big sister. You know, so she's a little sick. We didn't sleep much last night. Up like every 2 hours. But I think when I was talking to Katie about it, I was like, I think she's prepping us for the baby. Because we are officially on a baby watch now.
Is she cutting teeth or anything? Like what's?
Oh, she's cutting teeth. She has a little fever. It's a whole thing. It's
Ryan. When Ryan was little, she cut like all of her teeth at the same time. We only had like 6 weeks but she had like 14 fucking teeth coming at the same time. So she had rosy cheeks and a runny nose and a fever for like 6 weeks straight, and then we were done with it. It wasn't like
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't
I
like
mean,
a 3-month fucking journey like a lot of people have to do. She was
yeah.
very easy with that.
I think the only thing she's waiting on is her molars, and she's been around some other kids with the holidays and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, and
Yeah, you
kids are
get the
different with that.
fucking kennel cough and shit from
Yep,
other
yep.
kids.
Exactly. But that sweet baby angel named Regina definitely liked this album.
I'm
I will say,
surprised, actually.
yeah, I will say she did not like every song, but reacted positively to the vast majority of the songs on there.
Okay.
I can't think of a particular song or whatever that
I,
she didn't like, but like there was definitely there was good reactions to the album in general as it played, and
okay.
we listened to it a couple times. So Tom, just so you know, all of this for this episode, it's all listener stuff. You don't get credit for your personal stuff on this, but you did bring the listeners up to 3 likes, 1 dislike, and 3 indifference. Whereas I'm at 8 likes, 1 dislike, and 1 indifferent. Adam is at 6 likes and 1 indifferent, and you for your booze and vinyls are at 3 likes on the Regina factor there.
Yeah. So wait, how is my determination for Big D? So I don't get the Regina factor, but I get for the Big D.
Well, for the Big D, you don't. This
Because I
doesn't
get the
go.
booze and vinyl plus the listeners,
No,
don't I?
you're not getting this one. This one because you
Okay.
have 10 booze and vinyls, so you're just getting all the booze and vinyls.
Got it.
But this is going towards the listeners' Big D value. So, yeah.
Okay. I know there was some convoluted way. It was in fact, I was confused about how it worked. So
Yes.
I'm glad you could inform me.
Yes, no problem. So, Tom, what are your top 3 songs?
Hold on, I was drinking whiskey.
That's okay.
Okay. So
if you and it doesn't have to be 3 as we've talked about.
It's not going to be 3. It's going to be more than 3. As I said, there's 10 tracks on here, and all 10 of them are on my Spotify liked songs playlist. If I have to pick top songs, Seek Advice Elsewhere would be my number 1.
Okay.
Right? With definitely number 1. Like, and there's a clear margin between that and the rest. Nightlife, Shirts, Don't Make Me Go, Always Alone. Like, those are like my top 3 is the top 5 today, and that's the best I can give you. I can only pick half the album because that's all I got. I can't pare it down anymore.
That's okay. My top 3 definitely came later in the album. Not that I dislike the beginning of the album. It's just that I think it kind of the album to me kind of takes a turn for the good after Altar Boy. And my top 3 are Seek Advice Elsewhere, Stolen Away, and Always Above, or Always Alone. Sorry.
Close enough.
Yes. Those are definitely my okay. Top 3 there. I think I think I think with those 3 songs, those are the ones where the lyrical content hit me the most, and sure. I identified the most with through the album. Other songs, like I said, really good lyrics throughout. But I think when it came to those 3 songs, those were the ones where it was like, Paul, this one's for you, buddy. This I'm writing this one for you. Listen up.
There's several of them where I feel that when he's singing, I'm like, okay, I remember going through this as a child, or even more recently. Like, I remember this fucking feeling. Like, he's very good at conveying those fucking traumatic fucking feelings that I had when I was a kid. And he's probably the best I've run into so far.
And I feel like he's not. This is an album that is overall. I actually meant to say this earlier, and I didn't write it down. I go by the Tim Barry saying that like music should sound like release, not rent. And everything about this album is release, not rent. This album is not written to make $1 million. This album seems to be performed in a way that Ryan is the singer's name, he said.
Ryan Young is his name, yeah.
Ryan Young, in a way for him that every single time he sings these songs, he lets a little bit of himself out of stuff that he doesn't want to hold on to in his life. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this album.
This whole album that to me it felt like he's writing these things, he's unburdening himself from whatever the shit that he went through as a kid is. I feel like he and I probably went through a lot of the same shit the way he wrote it, because like I said 5 minutes ago, I have yet to find a songwriter that like I identify with the shit that he writes as hard
Yeah.
as that of this particular album anyway. Not even the rest of his stuff. This album.
And that's why I've said like a few times, I think on season 2, that's like that's one of the reasons why I haven't written a lot of songs lately, because I've been in a really good place for the last like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? I don't have anything to be mad about. You know,
well, and next time I come up to the record garage, I'm going to kick you in the nuts and stab you, and then you can write it. I'm just saying, I'll steal your car. You can write a country album, and then like who knows? You might be a fucking big hit. You're out in the woods now.
Shoot my dogs, you know.
No, I like your dogs. I'll take them with me though. I'll steal the dog, steal the truck. I'll stab you. I'll kick you in the nuts.
Kick a chicken. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a couple of your fucking best records too, and then yeah, I'll take one of the chickens for my coop, and then you can write like a fucking top 10 country record and be fucking rich.
Don't you take Chance from me. Don't you take her from me. It's my girlfriend. So my least, and I mentioned it, the album takes a turn for the better. Not that it's bad before this. It's good before this, but then this song happens, and then the rest of the album gets very excellent. My least favorite is Altar Boy.
Okay, I love that song.
Okay,
I don't have a least favorite, to be honest with you. If I had gun to my head to pick one, I'd go Start Walking, like the first song. But it's a good song.
Wow, yeah. So that actually, Start Walking was a contender towards my top. Like it was probably it probably would have been like a 5-ish, you know what I mean, as I broke it down. But
what I loved about I like Altar Boy, I like the message, and it's like, look, you don't have to believe what people are telling you. You can fucking like make up your own mind, and like I like that shit. I'm pretty sure Adam says that every week when you ask him for his opinion on the album.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's why, like, Start Walking, I don't even know why like if I had to pick that as my least, because it's still on my fucking liked songs. But you'd have to put a gun to my head to make me pick that song. Like, you have to pick one. Okay, here it is.
Okay, nice. All right, so Tom, can you hold up your record again that you when you tried jumping segments earlier? That is a pretty album there, and
that
where
is a beautiful record.
Yes, where did you get that from?
I bought that in 2023. I saw them play at Broken Goblet in the Chamonix.
Okay,
or not in the Chamonix. God damn it! Why do I say in the Chamonix? In Ben Salem. It's not Croydon. That's why they have a festival called This Is Not Croydon Fest.
Oh right, yeah, that is right. I'm going to that festival in April too.
Yeah,
so
it's Ben Salem, but I mean it's like fucking 75 yards from fucking Croydon.
Yeah.
Okay. I bought it there at the show because anytime I go to shows, I try to see, even if I own the record several different times, like if they have a different color vinyl that I have, I'm gonna buy it. Like every time I see Sincere Engineer, I pick up a new one. I have 3 copies of their newest album, all different colors, because how can you not for $20? Like, come on, man.
That is the way, really, the best way, especially for smaller independent bands. That is the best way to support them, is just go when you see them live, buy their merch.
I always buy vinyl if they have it, no matter who I go see, because like the first time I saw Sincere Engineer, they were the first opener, and I saw them in Sayreville at the fuck is the name of the anyway, who gives a fuck? I saw them open for Aso Aso and the Menzingers.
Okay.
And, I know how you feel about Aso Aso.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Yes.
When me and the redhead went to the show that you and Adam were at, you guys were gonna like, we're gonna go and see Aso Aso. I was like, I'm gonna wait here at the bar because these guys suck. And fucking 10 minutes later, you guys came back out and you're like, yeah, fuck these guys.
But hey, I gave them a shot. I was just like, all right, cool. Tom doesn't like them, but I haven't heard them. I've heard about them. Let me go check them out. And I was like, no, this isn't me. This isn't for me.
They suck. So, they were all dressed like frat boys, and like they were literally wearing polos and like khaki shorts. Like, fuck these guys. But I saw Sincere Engineer at the Starland Ballroom. I'm sorry, in Sayreville.
Okay.
And so after they were on, Aso Aso was on, and I was like, well, fuck these guys. Let me go over to the merch table. And I went over to the merch table, and the Deanna, the lead singer, Deanna Bellows is the lead singer of Sincere Engineer and the songwriter. She's working the fucking merch table. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, hey, can I get a selfie? She's like, you fucking take all the pictures you want. She's got to make sure you tag us on social media. I was like, fuck yeah, of course. Yeah. And so I buy the records, and she was like, I'll sign anything you want. I don't give a fuck. Like, the greatest, because she's like, you buying a shirt and a 2 pieces of vinyl, it's like that's gas money for us to get to the next show. And I'm like, that's awesome. Okay,
That's
cool.
awesome. Yep.
Yeah,
No,
I love supporting the little bands whenever I can like that.
Yep, and that's the thing too. Like when I played a solo showdown in Virginia, opening up for the no, they weren't the Unholy Four yet. It was Sean's from the Unholy Four, his band before the Unholy Four. It was Heavy Burner, and
Heavy Bernard.
Heavy Burner was the name of the band.
Heavy Bernard, like Tom Bernard.
No, just Burner, like Burner, like Burner. You know, Heavy Burner.
I thought like my last name, how you pronounce it. I was like, oh, it's my cousin.
That's pretty good though. But no, I went down and opened for him, and I drove down there, and I was staying with Sean. It was kind of like cool. Yeah, I drove down on like a Friday morning, played Friday night, hung out Saturday, went back up on Sunday morning. Or was it like something? No, I think it was left Saturday. I actually didn't even go down on Friday. It was actually like literally like an overnight trip. And like I didn't go down there to like fucking make money. I went down there to hang out with my buddy and drink beers and play music. And at the end of the night, like he's like, yo, man, here's $50. I'm like, what the fuck is this for? He's like, we had to drive. You had to travel. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, fucking, let's go buy beer. So that's what we did. We went to the bar next door and bought a bunch.
You know how much Busch Light we can buy for $50? Like...
Exactly. So, but that's the thing. These bands need it. That's why, like, you know, and I talked about it with your best fucking friend of the podcast, Skinny Lister, about how like they just go out and they'll fucking sign the shit and they're there for you. And it's awesome. And it's great. It's Sincere Engineer is one of those bands too, that I've been hearing about I actually love the name Sincere Engineer. And the name alone makes me want to check them out. And I just haven't gotten around to it.
She has an album. Her first album was called Bless My Psyche. And it was definitely, it's very well written. I love her lyrics. I love the stuff she talks about. But she writes and you're like, this is a teenager writing this. And then you're like, oh, yeah, because she's a baby. And so her newest album is called, I'm sorry, her first album was Rhombithian, it was called. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Her second album was called Bless My Psyche, and it was very good. And that was the one she was touring on when I saw them, the first time I saw them live. But I was aware of them. That's why I went to see them.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't give a fuck about the Menzingers or Aso Aso. I'll go see them. Menzingers have like 3 songs that I like. Like, I Don't Want to Be an Asshole Anymore is a great fucking song.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs that they wrote are great.
Yeah, no, they do. Yes, they have some good ones.
I went to specifically to see Sincere Engineer because I loved that Bless My Psyche. Great album. Loved it. But if you listen to all 3 of her albums, you can hear her like growing up while she's writing these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really impressive, like the progress she makes. Like her third album is called Cheap Grills, and I've spoken about it on this podcast before. And it's only been out for a couple of years. It's probably in my top 10 all-time albums.
So is that if I want to delve into Sincere Engineer for the first time, is that the album I want to go to?
Cheap Grills is amazing.
Okay,
it's so fucking good. She's got a song called Touch of Hell, which is it's on my fucking in my 20 songs that I put on when I go to the fucking bar and I'm playing songs at a jukebox. Touch of Hell is always in there. But she has really great songs on that. There's 5 or 6 that I guarantee you're going to like, Paul. Fireplace, Code Orange is great. Library of Broken Bindings. There's so many good fucking songs on that.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Check them out. I want the listeners to check them out too.
Yep. Nice. All right. So that album that you have there, that beautiful record you have there, is a 2023 limited edition reissue. I think it was like a 10th anniversary. Because I think
it was in fact the 10th anniversary. Yes.
So that, from what I gathered, it was limited to 500 copies. So it may have been a tour exclusive record.
Pretty sure it was. I bought it on the tour.
Yep, with the black and gold vinyl. Looks really cool. So the very good plus value on that album. And this one, we're going to go with this because you own it. We're not going to do the average. The average will be slightly lower because the 2013 pressings of this aren't necessarily worth as much as the 2023 ones. But on a very good plus value of $34.41, jumping it up to $35.
Okay.
And like I said, this is not going towards your total. This is only going to the listeners' total because you did this when you were not a member of the Country Hipster Podcast.
I don't remember what episode I said that I mentioned that I would like to cover that, or I'd like you guys to cover this album. I'm going to have to go back and fucking figure out when I said that.
It was very early because you've been on board for quite some time.
Since the Beach Boys. Yeah,
it might have been. I think it was.
No, I've
before
been
the
with you since the Beach
Oh, you've been
Boys.
with yes, you've been with.
Yeah, that was my first
Boys,
out or the
like,
first episode I was on.
and I think that was like episode 13 of season 1.
It was.
So,
It was early. It was in the
and,
teens.
and we are at now our overall episode number is 90. This is overall episode 90.
Killing it.
Yes. Yes. So with that, that brings the listeners' total up to $464. I am still in the lead. All of my records are done at $823. Adam is at
Fucking ridiculous.
I know. Adam is at $439, and Tom, with your booze and vinyls, you are at $162. Now, I will say, listeners, if you have something you want us to talk about, you want us just to see what, hey, I wonder what Paul and Adam and Tom and Kristen and Megan might think about this album that I like. Drop it in the comments, man. Drop it in the comments on YouTube, Spotify. Hit me up on Instagram, or just send me an email at info@ottsvillerecordgraph.com and say, I want you to talk about this particular album. We'll talk about it. So now, as I had just mentioned a few minutes ago, we are officially on baby watch in the Week household. So things are very, very fucking tight. We're very close to having this baby. And we are kind of pushing everything together. So I will tell you, I've officially planned out the rest of season 2. So that way we can get this done. There's, as you see, Adam's not here. That's okay. With the episodes we have left, there might be a couple more that Adam's not here, or it might be just me, or it might be me and Tom, or whatever. So I am going to forgo the box of Michael, but I still have the envelope here for what we are talking about next week. And it is, I'm going to open it up because that's just what we do here.
Aren't you supposed to rip it right down the middle, though?
No, that's what Adam does. He just rips it right down the middle. It sucks. I'm not looking forward to this. I mean, I already knew what it was. It's not really fucking very suspenseful there for me, but I know that we will be listening to and talking about Led Zeppelin 4 next week, and I'm not looking forward to it. I am not.
I know that I've known ever since I've known you that you don't like Led Zeppelin, and I'm the same way. I don't like them either.
I don't.
I feel like they were good musicians, but they basically stole everything they ever fucking did. Yes. And I don't like them for that.
I will say, and this is just kind of like a preview to next week, I will say that rock and roll is on this album, and I've also said many times, as much as I dislike Led Zeppelin, rock and roll is one of my all-time favorite songs. Like, it's probably like a top 5 favorite song for me. That's how much I like this song. Hate the fucking band, and I'm not looking forward to listening to this album.
Rock and, like, for me, because I'm a big Phillies fan, and so Kashmir because of Chase Utley.
Okay, yeah,
I always like Black Dog. I like the Immigrant Song, the Lemon Song. There's a handful of songs by Led Zeppelin I really fucking like. But when you start digging into what they did, and you're like, when somebody starts going, okay, well, here's the song, here's the original, and then here's them doing it. You're like, these guys are billionaires.
I think I like Dread Zeppelin better. You know what I mean?
Right, I remember them.
So if people don't know what Dread Zeppelin is, tune in next week and we'll get into Dread Zeppelin a little bit. So I will say this is also a booze and vinyl. Will be but we're not going to be making a drink because there's the recipes basically for this giant punch. And also, Tom, I'm sorry you're not going to be on this episode because of recording schedule as to when we have to do this. But you will be getting the credit towards your Big D for what.
So
what
you're saying is you guys are going to hop in the time machine from today and go back to like November to record this.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Go back to the day I was working or whatever. And I couldn't make it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Love you guys.
So,
I get it.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen here, and we're going to, but yes, Adam and I next week will be talking about Led Zeppelin 4, which is one of Adam's picks, which I got to think he picked this album just to piss me off.
I think so too, yeah.
I think so too, yeah, I agree.
There's no other reason to pick this fucking album.
Yep. All right, Tom, do you have anything else to say about this album?
Yeah, I kind of want to point out that if I have to, I'm a gambling man. I'm going to put the over-under on the amount of pilots that Megan gives us at 15 and a half.
15 and a half
for you gamblers, go 15 and a half pilots.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. 15 and a half. Over-under.
Over-under 15 and a half pilots.
15.5 pilots. I'm writing this down now. So I don't know.
To me, honestly, I'm going to take the under because Megan's a fucking baby. So I don't think she got beaten up enough as a child like we did. So I don't know that I don't think she suffered through some shit. So I don't know that this is going to connect the same way. So I'm going to take the under on the 15.5 pilots.
I'm actually going to take the over on this because
really?
I know it's
okay.
I think Megan will surprise you. I think she'll surprise you with this album. Thinking of her overall music taste, yeah, I'm going to go the over on this. I'm going to go the over. So,
okay.
And what's funny is what maybe people don't realize is I actually write down my notes and like on notepads and shit like that. And
yeah, I've got my little hipster notebooks and I write all my shit down.
and I keep this shit around. So I've written right here. Okay, hopefully Megan doesn't see this.
Over under 15.5 pilots.
You know what I mean? What we've just talked about there. So Megan, you know you can't listen to this, and then you know. So we'll go back when she does the Gen Z perspective.
Unfortunately, I know that we don't. Our time, like our recording and timing, is never in a row. So
No.
even though I saw you guys last week, it might be 2 months ago these episodes this is like some Rick and Morty shit that we do here.
Exactly.
So I don't know when it was that I dropped the joke about Megan having to rate everything on a scale of 1 to 21 fucking pilots. And I have no clue when that one's going to come out.
I think it was actually last week's episode.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so then that'll work out. It won't just seem like some fucking asshole making a weird joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool, awesome. All right, Tom, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for tuning in here, and scheduling this, and of course, thank you for always making the drinks and serving the beers on the Country Hipster Podcast whenever you're here. So I appreciate that. And if you have nothing else,
I got nothing, man. Love you guys. I miss Adam. There wasn't enough dick jokes in this show, but
I know,
it's hard.
I know, right?
It's hard when there's only 2 of us. It's
yes.
It gets real awkward when you got to make eye contact when you're making dick jokes. So like. I need Adam here so I can fucking try to make him laugh, and it's better. But
exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Good to see you again, buddy. Love you.
All right, good to see you, man. On that note, it is time to